Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday. This is my mom hair, don't care, up in a bunski, just chillin' day because, well, it's Sunday. And Sunday is laundry day, house cleaning day, and seeing all of you beautiful people. To plug my phone in because I actually fell asleep watching Family Guy with it not plugged in last night, like a smart person that I am. So it's on 9%. Oh, God, I hate when it does that. Then the light starts doing this. So please hold while I get the other charger so it doesn't do that. Okay, now it's plugged in. Now we're good to go. It's one of those days, guys. It's one of those days. Picking pecans? Pecans! Is it pecans or is it pecans? I'm going to have that debate. Is it pecans or pecans? Good morning. Good morning. I love my intro. I do. My cherry slippers. Yes, everything has to be cherry. I'm so comfy today. Not going to lie. My comfy sweats, my comfy sweatshirt, my comfy slippers with my comfy cup. I even had hot coffee today, and I ran out of creamer. So that was fun. I have to definitely get creamer today because that's not an option. And it's peppermint mocha season, people. Peppermint mocha season. All right. Why is my thing not? Why is it not purple? What's happening there? There we go. There we go. I am wearing my Justice for the Silenced hoodie, and it's comfy. It's very comfy. Not gonna lie. What's today? The 9th. We're getting into the month here already in the swing in November. I can't believe it's already the 9th. How crazy is that? Just had Halloween. Now it's the 9th of November. There is so much. We're so close to Christmas already, and that's a stressful time for a lot of people, including myself. Birthdays and Christmas all in one area is a cluster. It's a cluster. It's a big, giant cluster F. And I don't know about you guys, but then you have to start thinking about what you're going to do, for the holidays and whatnot. Your phone rings. Well, that's how this works, right? Anything to not be here. You know what I'm saying? Oh, happy birthday, Jesse's nephew. Happy belated birthday. And then happy birthday to her niece tomorrow. And yeah, so I have the same problem as you know. All of my kids' birthdays are in the next 3, almost 4 weeks, and mine. And then, then there's Thanksgiving and Christmas all in one giant cluster F. But I am excited for our pajama party, for our Christmas Eve pajama party. I'm pretty excited about that, not gonna lie. I think that's gonna be fun. I think it's gonna be lots and lots of fun. I think I might make my own pajamas. What do you guys think? If I make my own pajamas with my Cricut, I haven't decided what I'm gonna put on it yet, but I know it's gotta be something good. Right? That must have been what it was, right? Right around Valentine's Day. We were all doing some stuff, so that's why there's so many November and December babies. My youngest's birthday is before mine. Hers is a week before mine. So hers is the Friday before mine, and mine's Black Friday. Yay, me. So we'll probably, I think, have her party either on that Saturday or that Sunday. I know, you know what I mean? Like we're having a pajama party, and I feel like I need to make special pajama top for you guys. I feel like that's what needs to help. That's what we need to do. I don't know what it's going to say yet, but I'm going to come up with something good. I have been thinking on it. I've come up with a couple things, but they just haven't been like that one thing that I want on the pajama shirt yet. So I'm working on it. I'm also making a special pair of pajamas for all the kids and my husband, where they're all going to match, But I'm not. that's going to be a surprise, you know? Yeah, see, I have a 10th too, December 10th. My middle is December 10th. So, you know, it's right next to Christmas right there. And I have about, what's today? Again, the 9th. So I got about less than 10 days to figure out my own birthday, which that sounds like fun. I'm going to do this. I have all but almost given up. And then I'm like, no, I'm not going to give up because I deserve one day of happy, of one day of going out and enjoying myself. I deserve that much. You know what I'm saying? One time a year you celebrate your birthday and you know, share it with the people that you care about. And that's the plan, Stan. I'm literally almost out of time. Literally. You got to think about it. Today's the 9th. We're already almost 2 weeks into November. Like, time flew just like that. That is crazy to me. Absolutely insane. So did anybody see anything fun this weekend that happened? Yesterday was my only day off, as you guys know, so I try to stay off of social media and emails and all that stuff on a Saturday. I like to just spend it with my family, which is mostly what I did. I answered a couple things here and there, but I like to try to, like, I only answer text messages, but I try to stay off of like social media and all that. I did see this morning something horrible, something awful, that a missing 19-year-old that they were looking for, they figured out he unalived himself, and that's really sad. I was really sad to hear about that. You know, again, that is why I say nobody stands alone. Nobody walks that road alone, because that's a very real thing that can happen. The kid's name was Owen Kenny. They say he took his own life after walking onto the Ravenel Bridge pedestrian walkway around 3:49 a.m. on Halloween in Charleston, South Carolina. They now shifted it to a recovery mission. He was a handsome kid, you know. Oh God, 7 weeks. I don't even want to be reminded of all of that. I mean, I know we've had a lot of the like airports and stuff being shut down. There's a lot of delays. It's kind of weird. It's a little bit ominous, in my opinion. I'm like, what is actually going on here? Start thinking about all the things that happen around you, and you're like, what is really going on? You know, you put some things together, and you're like, wow, there's some weird shit going on in our world these days. Some very weird shit. The grounded planes, and it's not like. I also heard we might get snow tomorrow. Like, what the is that? What the hell is that? Snow? Who wants snow? We don't want snow. That's crazy. That is freaking crazy. Insane to me. What else we got? Let's see. Oh yeah, I saw Adventures with a Purpose. Came with the guy that was missing for 43 years. They found that car underwater with like a baby seat in the back, and it was the case of Donald and Octava, or I want to say the name was Octava. Yeah, I heard snow. I'm like, what? No, I don't want snow. No, because I'm not a snow fan. The only time I am a fan of the snow is when my husband is plowing, and that brings in money. But for the last however many years, we have gotten like no snow, or just like a dusting, which isn't enough to plow. So yeah, I'm not a fan. I don't like the cold. I don't like the cold. I also don't like it too hot. So I guess you could just complain either way, you know? I don't like the snow. Nope. I'm just not a fan of the snow. Not even a little bit. Nope. It's too cold for me. I don't like the coldness of all of it. Not a fan. Not a fan, not even a little bit. And then obviously the Patriots are playing. Duh. The Patriots are playing. Where's Carol? You need Carol. there's so many things happening. Also, where the hell, right? I mean, our FBI needs to do a better job. Like, where the hell is the Epstein files? We would like to see them, please. Asking for a friend. We would like to see the Epstein files, please. I don't think our government's ever going to let us see that, unfortunately. We have the government shutdown still happening. That's fun, right? Doesn't really affect me, but it affects a lot of other people. And they really need to, I mean, politicians, all of them need to get their heads out of their asses. You know, it's a little crazy for me because a lot of them have lifetime. Did you guys know this? That our government, like employees who, you know, work for Congress there, they get lifetime medical. Lifetime medical. That's crazy to me. Hey, girl. Yeah, let's hit that like button. I'd appreciate y'all. Like button, please. And if you guys would like to contribute to helping our show along, we could really use any and all support from you guys. We're not a 48,000 subscriber channel. We're not a 100,000 subscriber channel. We are just a little fish in a very large pond, and without support, we can't maintain. And so I ask of you good, kind people to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you already haven't. If you can support the channel, we have a bunch of different ways to do so. We have CashApp, Venmo, PayPal. We have Revolut for those of you who are out of country. We have the link. The link is, so I think I got a couple questions the other day. The link pays me to my PayPal, but it's not like you don't have to sign into your PayPal or anything like that. It's a secure link. It's secure. It just pays me out because I can choose where it pays me out to, and it pays out to my PayPal. So the link, you can use your credit or debit card, any credit or debit card. It is secure. You're not going to get hacked or anything. But it goes to my PayPal. So some people are like, well, is it PayPal? Well, no, you don't have to have a PayPal. You can use a credit or debit card. It goes to my PayPal as a payout to my PayPal. But it's a secure link for any credit or debit. But we have other options, right? We have regular PayPal, like a good old-fashioned PayPal, CashApp, Venmo, Revolut, Super Chat, Super Stickers, and memberships, which are always fun. Come on, Patriots. People are not confident in our ability to win this game. And I'm like, have some confidence, God damn it. Have some confidence in us. Yeah, that's probably true. But I'm like, free healthcare for life. They get it for life. So a lot of the things that our elected officials are there to fight for you or I or anyone else, they don't really care about. I think that's half the problem, right? Because think about when the Constitution came about. What the founding fathers envisioned were that anyone could run for elected office. The mailman, the milkman, the seamstress, anyone could run, and they would serve the public, and then someone else would run and win and serve the public. They never meant for it to be a lifetime politician, insider trading, insider information to use for their own benefit type deal. That's not what they meant it to be. They never meant it to be like there needs to be term limits, right? Because what happens is instead of voting the way they know they should to actually help people, they start voting in a way that'll help them or help their friends who help donate to their, campaign. This is all politicians, all of them, every last one of them. And I think our whole system is filled with the whole thing's a swamp. The whole thing needs to be drained. And we need to start over. We need to start over with basic everyday people. People are always like, well, we need somebody who knows politics. No, we don't. That's exactly what we don't need. What we need is everyday Americans who know what it's like to work the American dream and have to pay 40% or 50% of their pay in taxes. All sorts of different kinds of taxes, which is insane. So the government just sticks their hand into your check, takes 50% of it basically out by the year and says, go F yourself. We're going to take this and we're going to use it on the things that we tell you we're going to use it on. But in reality, if it doesn't get used for that, we just get to use it for whatever. There's no accountability. There's no transparency. Here in Massachusetts, they told us they were going to use lottery money to fix roads and bridges, right? The lottery tax was to fix roads and bridges. Our roads and bridges are falling apart. They have not used lottery money to fix that, or they'd have plenty of it. Then it was the gas tax was going to help with the roads and bridges. Every time it's roads and bridges, right? All these different taxes for all these things, and it doesn't end up going for. It's half the problem we have. A lot of promises made, but not a lot of that stuff actually happening to help communities. And it's unfortunate. So we have some storm chasing happening right now with some snow, actually, in the Midwest. And that snow, I think, is the snow that was supposed to be coming towards us. You know? Like, look at this. I'll show you here. Just real quick, because it's, someone else's channel, but I find it to be intriguing. All these different things I find intriguing. It's a Sunday show, so we just talk about random shit, but look at this. He's storm chasing right now. This guy's storm chasing. I think that's awesome. I think that's pretty cool.
Whole band's swinging.
I wouldn't do it, just because I don't want to die.
County.
But he is storm chasing this storm. And imagine, we don't want this snow. Take this snow back. We don't want it. I don't want it. Don't bring it here to Massachusetts. You keep it in there in the Midwest, Connor. We don't want it, sir. All right? We're not a fan of this nonsense. Unless it's money. Unless it makes money, then we're not a fan. But good for him, because I couldn't do that. Patriots pregame show is on right now. Like, let's get it. Go Patriots. I know, obviously, not all of you are Patriots fans, obviously. But y'all have little faith in us. God damn it. Okay? So, let's see. Let's see. I have, what in the actual hell? Life, my friends, life. What? Some of these things need to update themselves. Oh, thank you, Peachy Keen Jelly Bean. I appreciate you. I love my chair. I saw it on X. She says that she likes my chair, my pink chair. I am a huge fan of pink, as we all know. It's my favorite color. I will never let anybody ruin pink for me. I'm a girly girl, okay? Anything that's sparkly or pink, and actually anything that's also black or has a skull on it, I'm a fan of. I have a couple like blingy skulls over here. There's like a black one that's all bling-diddy-blang-diddy out, and then there's the big pink one back there. But anything with like my pumpkin. I love this pumpkin over here. This one has like gemstones on the edges of where the pumpkin is. I love it. I love it so much. Thank you, R. I appreciate you, my friend. And then my motorcycle helmet. Don't mind the vacuum. My child decided that she was going to make a mess on the rug. I also have my pink floofy pens here that Scorpio got me. She also got me these really beautiful ones here that I love because I always need pens and I'm always running out of ink. And so I love my floofy pen. They have different colors of these. And I love these ones too. They're amazing. Waffle House. Waffle House closes? Is that a thing? Hello, Stones. Does the Waffle House close? Is that an actual thing? Ah, there's Scorpio. See, you just say her name and she appears. She's like a genie, right? Say her name and she appears. Poof. I was talking about the pens you got me, Scorpio, and how much I love them. Because I'm always running out of, and the last set of them that she got me actually come with extra freaking ink. I love this idea. This is freaking genius. Freaking genius. And I'm not sure who got me this, but it is beautiful. This is the eyeshadow I got. And it's like an iridescent. I love it. I love it so much. I love it. Yeah, refills. It came with freaking refills. And I was like, freaking right, man. Refills? That's amazing. I love that. And I got this little guy quite a while ago, and I didn't have a desk to put it on. So it's been waiting for me to have, you know, a thing to put stuff on for my desk, you know? And so now I have a thing, right? I have stuff to put it in. Hey, Holly. Yeah, hurricanes, I don't want them. Hey, Ashley's challenge. I don't want them. Do not want them. But my pink chair, there's like a pillow that goes here that's supposed to help your lower back, but I actually took it off because it was, wait, I do? Today? What you talking about, Willis? What you talking about, Willis? You. What you talking about? I will say that there is some not so nice things happening behind closed doors. And as soon as I say that, it ominously starts to buffer on us. Hold on. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen so many unhinged people in life, you know? Oh, I love it! The puppy! Oh, no, Christy. Hurricane Alley. So I had a friend who lived in the Midwest for a while, and I kid you not when I say, I kid you not when I say, like, we were just asking for you, Carol. My friend used to hear those tornado sirens go off, and she lives like where the tornadoes, well, she did live with it. And I'd be on the phone with her, and I'd just be talking to her for hours from her bathtub, like literally. And I just to make sure she's like okay and everything, you know what I mean? I'd just be on the phone with her, waiting for the sirens to stop, and just she'd be in her bathtub. And I'm like, I would not. And she's like, this is how it is. Like for however many months a year, it's just constant tornado sirens. I'm sure we have tornado sirens, but I've never heard one here in Massachusetts ever. And I don't know what I would do if those things constantly went off. It'd be PTSD. Weird. Yeah, see, no, I couldn't live in Hurricane Alley. No, thank you. We just talked about the Patriots, and I was like, well, where's Carol? Where's Carol? We got the pregame's on right now. The pregame, man. I couldn't do Hurricane Alley, you know? Couldn't do it. Not a huge fan of dealing with the hurricanes. I feel like that would be taking up so much time a day hiding in your back. Like, what do you do if you're at work? You know what I mean? And those alarms go off. Like, what happens then? The tornado alarms go off and you're like at work. How does that work? How does it work? God damn it. That's crazy. That makes no sense. You know? I don't know. Well, I have the desk now, right? But I mean, Yeah, if you're at work and a tornado siren goes off, I never actually asked her that, but I probably should have. Like, what happens if you're at work and the tornado siren? Do they make you stop work and then you have to go hide under a desk? Or, I mean, away from the windows? Usually offices have a lot of windows, but maybe in Tornado Alley they learned to not have so many windows because of that, you know? Yeah, we don't have a lot of them. Oh, I remember that one in Exeter. I remember there was one that touched down in Exeter, you know? Oh, girl, listen, my child has my phone sometimes, and then she'll like swipe messages and it'll look like I've seen it, but I haven't seen it. And then I'll find it like 2 days later and be like, I didn't even know I had that message because she swiped it, right? And then it looks like it's open. So I just assume that, you know, I go to the next one that's not opened and assume that I've already seen whatever's open. And then I find out that she swiped it and I'm like, now it took me 2 days to answer this person. Now, you little jerk. Oh, jerk. You get in the bathrooms and the halls. The halls make sense. The bathrooms definitely make sense. Yeah, it is going to be a tough game. Have some faith, people. It's going to be a tough game, but have some faith. All right? Have some faith, everyone. Have some faith. Have a little goddamn faith. I got faith. You got to have some faith. Have some faith. You got to have some faith. Today is actually like, you know, laundry day. Today's like, you know, vacuuming day. Nice vacuum. Although I had to clean up my kid's mess that she made right here on the floor. But I don't blame you. Oh, you never interrupt family time on a Sunday. Sunday, we kind of just all like do our own thing. Usually my daughter plays with the kids next door and hasn't fixes anything that needs to be fixed or put together. And he cooks dinner on Sundays. And I do all the laundry and stuff. So you ain't bothering me. I'm going to have a lot of downtime today, Carol. Don't you worry, my friend. I texted Carol on my day off yesterday just to, you know, let her know I was serious about what I meant about the holidays. Nobody should spend a holiday by themselves. And again, I don't have a lot of family, so I know, you know, what that's like. And you're more than welcome, or anyone else for that matter, that is going to spend it alone to come spend it with me. Because everybody should spend holidays with someone they care about. And you all are like family now. So now you're stuck with me. Sorry. Whipped cream in my coffee. Does anybody else do that, or is it just me? I'm a weirdo. Put whipped cream in your hot coffee. It's so good. I shall not lie, it's so freaking good. Let's see. What else we got going on here? Do you guys have plans for what you're going to do? Is anybody actually shopping on Black Friday? Is anybody going to actually do that? Because nowadays, right, in some states it's different, but here in Massachusetts, what they decided to do was, instead of opening at like midnight on Black Friday, some of the stores don't open until like 6 or 7 in the morning on Black Friday. I don't do Black Friday shopping, also because you guys have to remember, everybody pay attention, because between now and Black Friday, what's going to happen is they're going to jack the prices of stuff up, and then come Black Friday, they jack it back down to the original price, and they go 20% off of this and deal on that, when in reality they've been jacking the prices up for a couple months, right? And then they jack them back down to like the normal price when Black Friday comes, which is, I mean, I can find a couple good deals maybe on Cyber Monday, but I haven't done Black Friday shopping in years. It's ridiculous. It's absurd. Hey, girl. Yeah, thank you. It's so much easier that way. You know what I mean? Also, for the last minute people like me who have to wait until you get your last minute paychecks before Christmas, you wait until you can, right? Which means a lot of things get bought off Amazon that can get to you before Christmas, you know? I mean, again, he can do all the shows he wants, but What does that make him look like? You know, someone with like, what is it, 48 or 50,000? What is it, subscribers? You want to go after a woman with less than 3? I mean, speaks volumes about who you are there, bud. It's really sad. It's really just sad. Like, if other women want to watch a man who doesn't know me, has never met me, doesn't know a fucking thing about me, trash a woman, then I would say maybe they need to take a good look in the mirror. Oh my God, Toys R Us. Did I hear Toys R Us was coming back? Can somebody confirm this? I heard that Toys R Us was coming back in some capacity. Is that a thing or no? Is that not a thing? I worked at Babies R Us, which was a subsidiary of Toys R Us. When I was I worked 2 jobs when I was pregnant with my oldest. I worked at Babies R Us, and then I worked at a restaurant called Stephanie's on Newberry that the attorney Jim Sokoloff, his wife, Stephanie Sokoloff, owns Stephanie's on Newberry. And my dad did some work on Mr. Sokoloff's his house. So yeah, I worked both, although I'll tell you, working in a restaurant when you're pregnant, probably not the smartest idea. All those smells, oh my God, how many times I had to go in the bathroom and like projectile vomit was not good. Not good with all the smells. And you had to work like 3 doubles a week. It was a lot. So I worked that job, and then I worked on the days that I was off at Babies R Us. It was, Bye Bye Baby. That was also a subsidiary of Toys R Us. Macy's. Oh God, I remember Macy's. I haven't been into a Macy's unless it was in a mall in a really long time. Really? See, I thought I saw something about some stores coming back, like Toys R Us stores at some point, but I wasn't quite sure if it was just like a rumor or what. But I did hear that. And I also heard something about, what was the other one that just closed? Big Lots, right? No. Yeah, Big Lots. That they were coming back in some capacity, you know? Sorry, I'm just seeing a comment on one of my videos, I'm seeing just now. And it's purely laughable, some of the stuff these people say. And it's like, cool, just keep revealing yourself so I can just bounce you. I don't know why you do it. It really doesn't really make sense to me. But fluff. Oh, he's fluff in my hot cocoa. In my hot cocoa. Yeah, that is a little strange. I just saw that. That is a little strange. I do a Sunday show every Sunday. Not really sure what's going on there, but 5 a.m. Yeah. Now in Massachusetts, they strictly prohibit stores from being open on Thanksgiving, because you guys know they used to like open them right up. And now most stores have agreed to not open until I think it's 6 a.m. It's either 6 or 7 a.m. on Black Friday, which is crazy to me. Also, why apparently Black Friday is we used to be told when I worked in the bar for 10 years that is one of the biggest drinking days of the year. So it's a little scary to me. I do not have a funny bone today. Today I have Turtle Tears coffee in a cup. You know, that's what I got. That's what I got. I wish I had a funny bone. I wish. Funding, my friend, funding. Yeah, I don't know why. Weird. There's a reason why I do days, right? There's a reason. But if you want to bring one over for me. By the way, I know who this is in case anybody was wondering. It's not some random person and it's not a troll. I know who it is. In case y'all were wondering. That's okay. You're so silly. Actually, that's a good. What's my temperature? Anybody know what the temperature today is? Let me see. What is the temperature today? The temp today. That's what they usually do. I know. They won't, I promise. They won't. They won't. They won't, I promise. You have to remember, when you're not constantly here, they got an eye on that for the trolls. Yeah, that's okay. We're not worried about that. That's all right. Who wrote the Book of Love? Who knows? Who knows? I mean, I don't know. It's weird. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. I do days for a reason, because it's not when other people are on. It's also works better for me. There's a multitude of different reasons. So what is the temperature? It's not even telling me. Oh, I love you for that. I love you for that. Does it say it's 60 degrees today? Real feel 59. Okay. All right. 60 degrees today is what it's saying, but it'll be mostly in the 50s. What's tomorrow? That's when they're saying we were supposed to possibly see snow. Let's see. Now it says rain, because it's going to be in the 50s. So you can't have snow unless it's below 32. So now it says rain. So I don't know. Earlier in the week, it was going to be boo. And you didn't bring me one. I say 29. Jesus Christ. Oh, that's no good. We don't want it. We don't want it. Take it back. Take the cold weather back. Take it back. You don't want it. You don't want it. 39? Oh, God. I can't. Yeah, that's part of what he does on Saturdays. So he changes everything to Sundays, is when he wants to go out on Saturdays. 39? I can't. I don't want the cold weather. I don't like it. Does anybody else have this thing where their towns make you buy, cities or towns make you buy trash bags to throw your trash away? Anybody else have that? Sorry, I have to look at something right here on the screen. So I just shut the camera up for a second here. Those on. I know, our birthdays are coming up. That does mean our birthdays are coming up. You're right about that, my friend. Yeah, it's going to be 60 today, you know? Wait, they don't put their trash out in trash bags? See, some cities and towns have this thing where there's specific barrels they have to put them in. And then other ones have this thing where you have to buy city trash bags. And of course, the city trash bags are like flimsy and they break and they're made crap. Like they're just crap. They're not made well at all. And thank you, Jesse. But I mean, in reality, see, okay, Milton, I knew it was either Attleboro or North Attleboro did. I wasn't sure which one it was. I lived in Attleboro many moons ago. And I remember at the time we were moving back towards the South Shore that it was either Attleboro or North Attleboro were getting ready to do that whole, trash bag thing. But a lot of them either have you have to use a specific barrel, which makes sense. But if you're asking your citizens to buy trash. So they have to buy their own trash bags, right? Then buy the city trash bags on top of it just to have your trash taken. That's insane to me. That's nutty to me. A dumpster would be great, I feel like. A dumpster would be amazing. You know? They have to be orange. That's weird. Right? As long as they still pick it up. We have to buy black bags from the city. See, that's what I'm saying. Right? Some cities will be like, you have to buy our yellow bags or our orange bags or our black bags or our purple bags or our green bags. But if you don't, and they'll leave your trash there if you don't put it in one of those bags. And it's like, they charge like $2 per bag. $2 per bag, like a ridiculous amount of money for, like, you can buy 30-gallon bags or 25-30-gallon bags for like $6 or $7. They're charging way more for those bags, and they're made really shitty. You know? I mean, that's true. Unless some cities will put their names on the bag, and that's how you know. It doesn't say like the name of the city on the bag. Yeah, they charge like so for 5 bags, you're paying $10 for 5 bags. That's crazy. That's insane. What do you do for elderly families or, you know, families on fixed incomes, disabled families? Like, that's insane. And then you want them to pay in their taxes to have it picked up too, like their, you know, house taxes. Like, make that make sense. That's double dipping, right? It's insane. But a lot of cities and towns in Massachusetts have been doing this over the last 10 years. It's nutty. It makes no sense. It's just another way to pull more money from people for the city. Because let's $2 per bag. So 5 bags, right, is $10. So you know that it's sense to make that bag. And if they're buying in bulk like that, to have them dispersed for people to buy, to have their trash thrown away, then take the tax out of what you charge them for trash pickup. Because they're double dipping it. You know what I mean? It's all for profit. Everything is for profit. If you go to like South Boston, right? That general vicinity around South Boston, they ticket cars like it's going out of style, to the point where they got caught a couple of years back making fake tickets to actual license plates of people, writing up fake things. And when people would appeal them, they would be denied the appeal for something that never happened, something they didn't do. That's insane to me. That's nutty. That's another thing. If you rent and you have a separate water meter from the rest of the building or the rest of the apartments, then you would have to pay for the water too, as a renter, which is cuckoo. You know what I mean? You're right. They don't care about the elderly. They don't care about people who are on fixed incomes. It's sad. Yellow. See, they're always a different color. Yellow, orange, green, black. You know, it's crazy to me. The dumpster is great to have for sure. You know, I wish. Listen, I'm telling you, if I had the money, I would have moved out of this state a long time ago. A long time ago. A very long time ago. Because there's just, I mean, that's why they call it Taxachusetts, right? There's a reason why we're called Taxachusetts. See, that's not, I mean, that wouldn't be too bad. You know, that would not be too bad, I don't think. It just wouldn't. But it goes far beyond that here. Like, there's a reason we're called Taxachusetts, because we tax people into freaking oblivion. Absolute oblivion. You know? Dumpsters creep me out. I mean, I think you feel like every time you walk over to a dumpster to throw your trash away, because at my old place, that's what we had, were dumpsters. It's like you hope somebody just doesn't pop out from behind it or something. It's very creepy. It could happen to you. Yeah. I won't hold my breath, my friend. I won't hold my breath. I wish. Yeah, if I win the lottery, I'm going to buy a big ass plot of land. I'm just going to build a bunch of houses. I'm going to give those houses to people so that they just have to pay the utilities in the houses and maybe whatever their portion of like yearly tax for the house is. But other than that, they don't have to worry about anything ever again. You know, if I was Oprah, do you know how many houses I would have bought? I mean, Oprah can never spend all of the money that she has amassed. You know, ever in life, she could never spend it all. Do you know how much good I could do with that kind of money? You know how many people I could help? I could refurbish every, abandoned schoolhouse. And do you know how many abandoned schoolhouses Massachusetts has? Oh my God. Me and my husband have talked about this before if we ever hit the lottery. Like we would buy all these abandoned schoolhouses that Massachusetts has, which are a ton of them, and refurbish them, condos or whatever. But we would try to make it in a way that the people who lived there didn't have to pay rent, or if legally we were required, then, that's the one thing that I'm iffy on when it comes to law stuff is real estate law I never really got into it, didn't really care much for it. But say that we had to, right, charge rent. Cool, I'll charge $1, right? And they can just pay their utilities or whatever. Because people are paying 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90% of what they make in rent alone. And the state doesn't count the money they take from people, right? So they're not counting the 40, 50% in taxes that they charge people in their paychecks. They count the whole thing before they take their greedy little fingers and stick it into your paycheck. So if you make 40 grand a year, say, the government says, well, you make 40 grand a year, so you can afford to, spend 30% of your income on rent. Well, if the government is taking 40 to 50% of your income in taxes, how could you possibly afford to spend 30% of what's left on rent? You can't. Massachusetts is one of the most expensive states to live in the entire country. We are this big. We are literally this freaking big, okay? There is no reason that our rates should be that high, ever. It's because they keep building all of these luxury high rises that remain 75% empty, and then saying, because by state law they have to have so many units that are, quote, affordable, right? But the way that they calculate what's affordable is not actually affordable or realistic. So when they say, oh, well, you have to have 10 units out of 100 be affordable, right? And those 10 units are still $3,000 a month, that's not affordable by a long shot. So realistically, they're charging $5,000 for the ones that are non-affordable or higher than affordable, and $3,000 for the ones that they claim are affordable. Or what's happening is these big companies like BlackRock, which are probably 80% of the building that's going on in our state, buy up these subsidiary companies and these shell corporations and all this bullshit. And they buy up all of this real estate, and then they knock everything down and they build these condo luxury high rises, and they charge $5,000-6,000 a month for a 2-bedroom. And then their affordable units are $3,000, which are very much out of reach for many, many people, because most people in the state do not make 100 grand or more a year. And realistically, if you look at our prices of rent, food, utilities, you could make 100 grand a year in our state and be poor. That's crazy. That's nuts. And if the state's taking 40% of that, or the government, I should say, because you're talking state taxes, government. My husband gets hit with 2 taxes from 2 states. 2. His company is here in Massachusetts, but because they have some business that he has to do in Rhode Island, he gets taxed twice. And there's nothing we can do about it until tax time. And even then, they come and go, oh, well, you owe $1,000. We're going to take that, right? And we're going to take this. And we end up with shit. Literal shit. So what in the actual F and F? You got 2 separate states taking taxes out of his paycheck. He's getting double whammied. That's crazy to me. If the company is here in Massachusetts, that's where the taxes should be coming from. Even if you have a building they have to go to that's in Rhode Island shouldn't be able to, I don't live there, right? The company is here in Massachusetts. Just because they have to cross the borders for some business doesn't mean that I think that the government of Rhode Island should be able to take money out of his paycheck, but they do, and they are. So he's getting double taxed. A low-income family, working family can't afford to be double taxed. That's insane. Insane. I love that. I love that. And that's what should happen, right? But now, back then it was more just like the elderly or disabled that needed that help. Nowadays, nowadays it's much more than that. It's way beyond that at this point, way beyond that. I mean, that's what they're calling them these days, right? That's what it's calling, I love that. That's what I'm saying. Buy a lot of land, put little houses on it, and give them to your friends and like that's a dream, That's a dream of mine. It's on the bucket list. Maybe one day. We can all pray, I love that. I love that. Hello, lady. Timu has some good stuff once in a while. You gotta read the reviews. That's what I'm saying. Wallflower, it's insane. It's insane. Those prices are insane. I think they do, right? I'm pretty sure they do. Yeah, most people don't even make 10% of that, I wish that would be right. And to be fair, Christy, when we talked about this, like if we ever hit the lottery for a large amount of money, that's exactly where I said I would buy it, North or South Carolina, because that's where I could get the land for the most decent price. I looked into it because I was serious about it. If I had ever, get to that point in life where I'm able to do that, that's exactly what I'm going to do, Oh, I bet. See, if I ever had the money to just leave, I would. He gets taxed for both states. How crazy is that? Like, why is that okay? It should be one or the other. It should either be where the company is located or where they do some business, but it shouldn't be both. Nobody should be double taxed. That's insane to me. Absolutely insane. There's no reason that should happen. None at all. My grandmother always said, if you're going to give, right, you give and you don't wait for something in return, or you're not doing it for the right reason. You give because it's the right thing to do, or you give to help someone out because you know that they need it. You don't do it and then wait for something in return or use it as a dangling carrot. Like, you do it because you feel like it's the right thing to do and you expect nothing in return, or don't do it at all because you're not doing it for the right reason then. That is what my grandparents taught me, Yeah, you're right about that. The pay is less. And so, but there are some companies I've learned that if you work in Massachusetts, say for instance, remotely for a certain company, and you move to a different state that has that they won't lower your pay rate. You'll keep it. You'll keep the same pay rate. So I feel like but that wasn't an option many years ago. It got lowered to whatever. And that's not cool either, because they're like, oh, well, cost of living is less, so we're going to pay you less. No, no, that's crazy, Really? Yeah. Well, that is crazy. That's crazy tax. I mean, to be fair, all taxes is crazy, in my opinion. Yeah, patrol. I wasn't looking. See it? Didn't see anything. I love that. I love that. Nobody threatened him. That's so crazy. Nobody's doing that. Yeah, I know. That's, SSI is nothing, not next to nothing for people. They can't even pay rent with what they get, I love that. But that's the thing, right? Is that's what you could do. You could use your own money yourself and then help people that need the help. And I want everybody to remember there are going to be people who can't, right? Who can't because it's not even feasible. You're 100% right. Not even close to feasible for anybody on Social Security or disability to be able to, and I'm talking like you're disabled. That's about $1,000 a month, give or take. They give you like, think it's $25, maybe it's 50, I'm not sure, per kid you have, which is like, okay, cool, that's not really covering anything. But that's crazy. That's just crazy to me. Absolute insanity. They can't even pay for that. That wouldn't even cover a room to rent. Or they'd have to use their entire check for the room. They wouldn't have one extra dollar for anything. Not toilet paper, not shampoo, nothing. You know? Nothing. Not a goddamn thing. But you have to remember there are going to be people who are going to be too proud to ask for that help. And I want everybody to keep an eye on that. There's going to be people in your neighborhood, friends, family members, people you talk to that are going to be too proud to ask for the help that they desperately need for one of many, many reasons. And, you know, your neighbor's fridge could be basically empty and you don't even know it because they're not going to say anything. You know, they'd rather suffer than ask for help. And those are the people that, you know, in whatever way I can help, I try. Whether it's I cook dinner and there's extra, I just leave it on their doorstep, you know, and text them and be like, hey, I left you something. You know what I mean? Like whatever it is. You gotta do what you gotta do. Because sometimes people are just not going to tell you. You know, a lot of people would rather suffer than ask. You know, it's pride. You know, no, you'd never move to the South again. They do pay bad. You know, they do pay bad. Although I would love to live in Florida. I feel like I would rather. I feel like, aw, I love that. I love that. I love that so much. Yep, I feel you, my friend. I feel you. Right? It's tough out there. I feel you. I feel you on that too. Sometimes you just got to swallow that pride. You know, it's hard, but sometimes you just have to. And believe me when I say it's not an easy thing to do. I like ramen for 9 days. Yeah, my little loves ramen, and I'm like, listen, you cannot live off ramen. There's a lot of sodium in that, kid. Sorry, not sorry. But if she wants a snack, she's like, I want ramen. I'm like, no, you don't want ramen. You're not having ramen as a snack. That's not a snack. You could go get some fruit. We're not doing ramen. Like, come on. Oh, what am I going to do with the rest of my day that there was a troll that said nonsense? I might just cry. Troll. Oh, what am I going to do that you came here to troll? Wah, wah, wah. As a matter of fact, I think I forgot to put subscribers only mode on. Let me just fix that real quick. Because then they look even more pathetic when they have to wait 5 minutes. They have to subscribe and wait 5 minutes to troll. Womp, womp, womp. Hold on. Oh, I don't love that, Carol. You know, I hate that for you. Grandbabies are important. You know. You know, I was telling you guys not that long ago that my oldest daughter last year, you know, she's over 18. She's an adult now. So she gets her own disability check, which is about $1,000. I think it's like $998, $997, whatever the hell it is. And she's got her own bills to pay, you know, but she still went out of her way during Christmas time to help other kids, you know, in low-income families just like ours. And that sense of pride it gives you to know that your kid, you know, did what she thought was the right thing, even if it screws her in the long run. You know, I'm the same way, so I get it. You know, I totally get it that, you know, you want to do good and you can't leave it up to other people because unfortunately we live in a really, really greedy and selfish world currently. And so taking it in your own hands to be like, well, hey, sorry, my leg is itchy. I'm going to do what I can as a human and hope that other people follow in those footsteps, is an amazing pride, you know? I don't know. I must not be seeing what you guys are seeing. I don't think they do lay away anymore. I'm not sure. A lot of like stores got rid of them. Layaway. They got rid of layaway. Like they don't do it anymore. Most of them stopped doing it, say at least 5 years ago or more. But as far as I know, yeah, see? Oh, I love that. See, that's what I mean, you know? You just do what you can for other people. And where I don't have, that to do for someone, I still try to do what I can, you know? Same, me too. Because to someone it might not be a lot, but to me that's a lot, right? That goes a long way in helping put groceries on my table, you know? It does. And $100 these days buys almost nothing, but it's something that you didn't have previously when you're using your change jar to try to get what you need, whether it's, bread or milk or whatever for dinner for that night. Hold on. Sorry, I had to take that phone call. Maybe Burlington. I don't even know if Burlington does it anymore. Yeah, I mean, maybe. But have to look into that for people because that'd be a good thing to know for people whether Burlington still does. But the fact are the only places I knew of that did it were like Walmart and stuff, and I haven't done that in years. Sometimes that happens. You appeal, you've tried everything, and they don't care. It's unfortunate. I feel like there's a way, like I think you get like 2 years of spousal support or something like that. Something like that when someone dies. I could be wrong, but I know there's something like that when someone passes that I know when you're married, but I'm almost positive that it also applies to ex-husbands or whatnot if they never got remarried or something. Oh, you got disability on his earnings. Yeah, I don't know how that works. Oh, so basically you got hit with the whammy, which is if you get Social Security before you're like 67 or whatever, they basically take like more than half of it away and say it's because you've had to file early, that it's, you lose it. You lose all that money, which is absurd, But again, if you hire a lawyer, they get a third of that. A third of nothing is still, nothing. And so most people don't because they, A, can't afford to give the lawyer a third, and B, some of these should be winnable without having to get an attorney, right? But most of the time, Social Security will deny you if you have no attorney. And then when you have an attorney, boom, there, you know what I mean? It shouldn't work like that, but it does, Furniture, yeah, that's probably a good place to look for that, as long as you can get it there. That's the other problem. you don't have a car, or you can't have someone deliver it, or you don't have the extra money to have someone deliver it, that's where another problem comes in. You know, I think a lot of the time people forget, like even with the pantries now, people are like, okay, you know, send this person to this pantry where they live. These are the list of places. And it's like, cool. If there's no buses and trains, how do they get there? They don't have $20 to take a cab, or they'd have $20 to buy groceries. It's like, how do they get to and from, or they're disabled, right? How do they get to and from the pantry to get the food? They don't, you know? Yeah. And basically you have to have an attorney these days. Burlington, Sears, wait, Amazon? Amazon does layaway? What? Is that a thing? See, that's the other thing, right? If you can't drive to get there, how do you go? You don't, right? You don't. You're screwed. You're screwed. You can't get to the pantry if no one can bring you and you don't drive because you're disabled and can't drive, you know? Hey, Sam. Oh, I love that. That's a decent human. You know, some lawyers can just be all about the money, and others, this is a decent human. You know, most attorneys won't do that. Like, give you a few bucks before the money comes in, knowing it's coming in. They'll just say, wait. But that's a decent human. That's pretty good. That's pretty good, you know? Oh, I wish there were more thrift stores around. I do, because there just aren't that many anymore. And it used to be, right? Think about Salvation Army. Think about, you know, those kind of like thrift shops. What really makes me sad about it now is people donate their good used items to these places. These places resell them, which is fine. But if you're reselling them for more than what someone could buy that item for at Walmart, there's a problem, right? The whole point of a thrift store is to be cheaper than the regular stores so that the low income can afford it, right? And then also when they have these, so now Salvation Army and what's the other one? Someone give me the name. Goodwill. Now, for instance, say the Goodwill or Salvation Army get this big thing of Lego minifigures in, and some of them are Star Wars, right? Some of them are Star Wars. Do you know what they do with them? They don't put them on a shelf so that a kid could enjoy them. A low-income kid could enjoy them. They take anything, or a Coach purse, like an old used Coach purse. They're like, they don't put it on the shelf for $10 for a low-income family to enjoy like they used to. What they do now is they take anything they think of as any value whatsoever, and they put them on a website where they auction it off to the highest bidder. I do not agree with that. Therefore, I no longer bring anything to the Goodwill or Salvation Army. I will only bring it to places that I know give it directly to people, like churches, homeless shelters, domestic violence shelters, or straight to people. In general, like here to a person. I'll give it straight to someone who needs it. Because include it. So they take everything, right? Because I'm a big fan of Lego minifigures. Like not the sets, but like the singular Lego minifigures. I love them. They're my thing. I collect them. You know, they'll have like Nickelodeon ones, they'll have Disney ones, and then they'll just have like themes, you know, like Jobs or, you know, Old Fashioned or whatever. And so I love the minifigures. I love those. One year I got 2 in my stocking and I was so excited. I think it was last year because it was the only time I had a stocking filled. And I was like, oh my God, I have a Lego minifigures. I'm so excited. And they're hard. Like once they go on the shelves, they fly right off the shelf. You know, and they're like $4 or $5 each usually. But now they take anything that's worth money and they put it on a website and they auction it off to the highest bidder, which just makes my blood boil. That's not the point of a thrift shop. Right? They lost sight of what they're trying to do in terms of helping community. And now it's about profit. You're already making a profit. When you're selling some items that people can buy brand new and you're selling them used items for what they could buy it brand new, you've lost sight of it already. But now you're taking anything that could be worth any sort of money at all and selling it to the highest bidder with a cap. I just don't agree with that. I just don't. I think they've lost sight of it. And so I will not donate to those places any longer. Sorry, I won't donate to the Red Cross either. I had two friends that worked at the Red Cross in different positions in different fields, and I know a lot of some of the shady shit they do, and so I do not support the Red Cross. If I'm going to help someone, hurricane-wise or other, I get in touch with someone I know who lives in that area, and I give it to them, and I have them distribute it to actual real people, because otherwise some fucked up shit happens. See, we need more local. We don't have a ton of those anymore. Massachusetts is lacking in certain areas with some of those kinds of stores anyway, you know? Love Legos. I just do the mini figures. Sorry, guys. Oh, that's cool. They pick up from your house. That's nice to know. Yeah, I'm not a fan of them, you know? But there are other places. Like there's one not far, probably a couple miles from where I live, that's owned by just a person. And they do great work. They collect a lot of things for people in need and help them, and I love that. So the more local ones are better, in my opinion. I'm sure you ever step on a Lego in the middle of the night, you get up to go to the bathroom and your kid's like playing with Legos, you ever step on a Lego? Ugh, I can't. My sister's boyfriend loves Star Wars. The mining, yeah. Space, gotta love NASA and space, you know? Shop in the back for the dumbass. Right before they open, you put all the boxes out there, you know? Yeah, I do not, I won't even do the Goodwill just because of this. Like, I'd rather do smaller places that I know are like family owned or owned by a person that do things for it. Because, like, again, now that I know some of their shady business tactics of anything worth anything to them goes on this auction website of theirs, and you can see it'll say Goodwill, Salvation Army. Like, it'll tell you which company has put it there, what the bottom cap of how much it has to reach in the auction first before it can even sell. I'm just disgusted with that whole thing. Yeah, all sorts of like stuff they think's worth money. Old trains, Legos, like it's gross. It's gross. It's gross. I can't. Right. I mean, you're selling, you know, an old shirt from 1970 for $8, and you can get a brand new one for $5. You know. Yeah, local small businesses are always better. You know. Those are corporation figure stores. You have to go to the actual. Yeah. Well, that's the other problem is all these mom and pop stores that have had to close up. Yeah, no, see, I had two friends that worked at the Red Cross in different capacities on different sides. The Red Cross has like two different sides. They have like the blood collection side, and then like they were throwing away, I kid you not even kidding you, during COVID, they were throwing away freezers and freezers here in Massachusetts, I don't know about other states, full of blood that had not gone bad, that was not bad for them to be. They were throwing out freezers and freezers full of it, and then making commercials saying that they were in such a shortage of blood, which was not true. So then I had to start asking myself, because the more blood they collect, the more money they make. So what are we doing here? Right? I just don't trust these companies that are lying publicly when I know what's happening behind closed doors from the people who are looking at it, who are doing it. You know, it's gross. It's gross. Yeah, I would get, giving locally is definitely where I prefer to do it if I can, I just can't. She has like some Legos, and she helps me put the little mini figures together, but she's not a big builder. She likes to do other things. She's more crafty, right? She likes to do like more sort of artsy and crafty things, but not, she's 8. So it's not like, just coloring. She wants to like help actually do some more intricate things. Like we've done the beading and the bracelets, and she's like over the whole bracelet making sort of ordeal thing. But she does do a lot with her hands, taking things apart, putting things back together. So what is that, Christina? Is that specific? Because that's another thing. During Christmas time, they only do certain cities and towns. So if your city or town does not do certain things, then, you know, you're kind of screwed as a low-income family if they don't do your area. Or there's only, do you guys know that? And I'm going to give you guys a tip. If you are a giver for Christmas time, I'm going to tell you who needs the most help, right? And you can choose to take this information or not, or do whatever you want with it. But most Christmas programs have a cutoff of age, and it's either 11 or 12. And so there are not really any Christmas programs, depending on location, for teenagers. So any kid over 12, you know, you're talking 13, 14, 15, 16, there's no help for low-income families for teenagers. It just doesn't exist. They think that, oh, well, they're teenagers, so they'll understand. Well, that's great and all, but is a 13-year-old going to understand why an 11-year-old got, you know, X amount of gifts from whatever entity, and then the 13-year-old didn't? You know what I mean? Like, no, they're still kids. And the highest cutoff I've ever seen is 13, and it's one place. So if you have any kids over 13, 14, 15, like that, there's nothing. It doesn't exist. Teenagers are sort of left out. And a lot of the time, the excuse that I hear is, well, teenagers are more expensive. I could argue that's not true at all. Oh, I love Lego minifigures, but not so much Legos. But the teenagers are the ones that sort of get left out, you know? They get completely left out. And like I said, the excuse, a dog kibble, it's probably worse. That's cool. Yeah, see, that's the thing. When you don't have any in your area, you're kind of stuck with what's there, you know? I think Marketplace is definitely used more than Craigslist is, but the teenagers, you know, basically are said, oh, well, they you know, they cost more money. I argue that that's not true. They're probably cost the same as a little kid. A little kid's toys can go anywhere from like $10 to $40 for one friggin' thing. Teenagers are super easy, right? Boys, sometimes they like sports. Sometimes they're into like Legos, you know, some of that like DIY science experiments. A lot of the boys and girls like. If you have like a more nerdy kid, like I'm a nerd in heart. I'm a little bit of a nerd. I'm not going to lie. But I liked a little bit of everything. You have a girly girl, then the kid's going to be happy with makeup and, you know, skincare and maybe a hoodie or a gift card to their favorite place to shop or go or get coffee or ice cream with their friends. Teenagers are going to be just as expensive as the little kids are. This whole like, oh, they cost more. Actually, in my experience, the little ones are harder than the older ones, realistically. There's plenty of things you can buy for your teenagers on Amazon, 14, 15 bucks, 10 bucks, depending on what it is, that they would like, that I'm buying something that's 20 bucks, 25 bucks for my little. Do you know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense. I love those Lego flowers. They're so pretty. They're so pretty. That's different. These were freezers full of blood that they shouldn't have been throwing away. They didn't need to throw away. Believe me, my friend did that. This is what she did for a living. And when she questioned them, you want to know what happened? She was suspended for a day for being like, what the fuck are we doing here? So she's got a lawsuit going. So, and it's been going on four, maybe even 5 years now, you know? Up to 18. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. You know? That is pretty cool. listen, I have two that are over, the cutoffs, and, one that's under, obviously. And so the two that are over, all of that is on me. And, there are programs for some programs, depending on where you live. That's the other problem. You have to be able to get to the place, to and from, when they tell you, and you have to be able to fill out the paperwork, get it there and get it back. And it goes by area. So it goes by where you live. So if you live specifically in an area that has one program that you qualify or don't qualify for, and you don't qualify for it, or you have kids that are over the age of 11, you're ultimately kind of screwed, right? So for those people that like to help, I say reach out to the people that that are low income, that have teens or over the age cutoffs for some of these places. Grafton, okay, that makes sense. Blackstone, yep. Yeah, see, a lot of the people that, in recent years that I've tried to, like, tell them where to go or get help, a lot of the times people will tell them, go to the police stations, go to the fire stations, and they do drives, but most of the time their drives are for Toys for Tots, and they bring their stuff for Toys for Tots, and Toys for Tots has a cutoff, an age cutoff. So, see, that's the other problem is I was a foster kid, and I can tell you what my Christmases looked like. Pretty bleak. The foster parents, they don't get paid to provide Christmas gifts. So, it is what it is. I don't, but the other problem is if anybody, that's another problem that I have when I was in foster care, where, say, for instance, someone like adopted me as a Christmas, the family, the shitty families I had would keep the stuff and give it to their kids. And there's just shitty people who get into, I'm not saying obviously every person who gets into foster care is shitty, but in the experience that I had, there was some shitty, there was one very last family I was with that actually gave two fucks about the kids, and I'll never forget them. Lived in the Cape, and they were wonderful people. But, I was only there a short period of time. But before that, it was just shitty place after shitty place, abusive, horrible people. Oh, I'm sure you did. I know you probably did, because they make it very difficult too, though. They make it extremely difficult for you to do all that. Unfortunately, I know. I've had friends who got out of it because they were fostering for a while, and then they sort of caught the system lying to them, and they were like, I'm not doing this anymore. It was making it way too difficult for their own families to do it, and so they stopped. They stopped taking in foster kids, and it's the good families are the ones that stop, right? And it sucks. It sucks, because then the kids are left with not the great ones, And again, it's the amount of kids doesn't, there's not always somewhere to put them. That's the problem. But that's the thing. You don't even have to worry about that. They have all these different things that they say that you need to do or not do, and sometimes they'll just say you don't qualify just because they don't like your face, or they don't, you know what I mean? That's how red tapey and politicky it is. I've told some people where to go and how to get there and on which horse to take, Ash. Oh man, believe you me. Today's not going to be a super long live because, like I said, I have laundry and stuff to do today, my friends. But if you would like to support the channel, there's a bunch of different ways of doing so. We have Venmo, PayPal, CashApp, Revolut. We have the link that's in chat, it's pinned to the top. That goes to my PayPal, but you don't have to have a PayPal to do it. It uses just it's secure, it's anybody's credit or debit, and then it goes into my PayPal. You don't have to have a PayPal to use the link itself. It's set in a way that it pays out to my PayPal. Let's hope, my friend. Let's hope. You can. Sometimes it just is what it is. I'm sure they didn't. I'm sure they didn't. Sure they didn't. 14. Yeah. See, so the cutoffs are, that's the highest I've seen yet is age 14. Usually the cutoffs are, 13, 12, usually around 11, it's usually not 11 and 12 are the ones I see the most. 11 and 12, that's the cutoff. So it's very rare to find one that's 14 or 13. And when you do, that goes by area. So the problem is at least in my state, I don't know how other states work, but at least in my state, it goes by specific like city and like county. Sometimes it goes by county and other times it goes by city specifically. So it's like a city by city thing, which is crazy because some cities have a ton of stuff. Like, to be fair, the greater Boston area has a shit ton of help for kids about 11 and under. But what about the older kids? And that's not the same for every area. Western Mass has almost nothing, right? It's the mountains, so there's not a ton there. And then Plymouth County has a lot of good stuff. Essex County does. Suffolk, which is Boston. Norfolk, which is greater Boston. So you're really looking at like Western Mass, Bristol County, and like Franklin County, which is lacking when it comes to programs for Christmas time for children, and definitely for children above 11 or 12. So at least if you live in Massachusetts, I guess like where the biggest needs are. That's what I've seen over the years of trying to direct people to where they could possibly get the help that they need. And a lot of times, sometimes there's just nothing. There's just nothing, depending on the city they live in. If they live in a city that doesn't have anything, then there's nothing. You know what I mean? Then there's nothing. Or they live in a city that has something, but the age cutoff is 11 and all their kids are 12, 13, 14. There's nothing. There's nothing. And, my brother's keeper is good, but in order to get on their Christmas list is almost impossible. It's literally impossible. They have like a Christmas line you can call. And when I tell you, you could call 150 or 200 times in a row and never get someone to pick up the phone, and it just to be constantly busy, that I kid you not. And most people can't spend 6 or 3 hours. They keep it open, I think 3 hours on like 2 or 3 days a week or whatever it is. Can't spend 3 hours just dropping and dialing, dropping and dialing, dropping and dialing, dropping and dialing when it's always busy, I think. And they do like sort of a lottery, but even that is difficult. So, not much you can do when it comes to that. They service a lot of the state. So sometimes that's the only program, because they do all ages. And that's like the one place that does all ages, 12, 13, 14, 15. Like that's the only place that I know of that does most of the state that does all ages, but it's almost impossible to get on their, Christmas list. I've had people try for years and they've been like, at least I tried. And I'm like, did you try the lottery? And they're like, I tried. And I'm like, I know it can be difficult. It's because they service such a large area. There's not much you can do about it, Best thing I can say is try to make an Amazon wish list and, share it with family and friends, and maybe share it on Twitter and pray. Pray. That's what I do most Christmases is pray. Just pray. You know what I mean? Pray, you can figure it the fuck out somehow, some way. And I got my kids' freaking birthdays all in that same area, so it makes it just cluster F. Makes my head want to explode, to be honest. It does. It makes my head want to go kapooey, because we got Christmas, Thanksgiving, and then kids' birthdays all in the same area, which is a lot. It's going to rain today. It's not going to rain today, right? Or tomorrow. That's pretty cool. See, that doesn't always, I don't know about, like your area versus my area. Some people make pages that'll help people in certain areas, but then again, you never know, because sometimes, like I saw last year, there was 2 families that somebody that I tried to direct somewhere, and then that program was full, or it was past the deadline, or whatever the case may be. I think it was past the deadline. And then someone else was like, well, what about this thing on Facebook? And so I was like, well, try that, right? And then so they had people, two families that they said, okay, someone's sponsoring these two separate families. And then come, I think the stuff wasn't supposed to be given to them until like the 10th of December, or maybe it was the 15th. And then come that day, they were told, oh, we're waiting a few more days for the sponsor. We're waiting a few more. And then it got to like the 20th, and the sponsor just wasn't answering anymore. So there are people who will like sponsor and say they're going to sponsor, but then never actually do it. And so then that leaves these families with nowhere to turn right before Christmas time. And at that point, all the lists are closed. There's nowhere to go. There's no one, you know what I mean? Like that's the kind of stuff that just kills me. It kills me because I've seen that happen a billion times. Where it's like, okay, your family's been sponsored. Don't worry about it. You're all set. And then come the time that it's supposed to happen, which is way close to Christmas, right? They're like, oh, just kidding. The sponsor bailed. Like, oh, for the love of God. For the love of God. We'll have to talk about it personally, Carol. Something I definitely, I've helped a lot of families with that. So we'll talk about it. That's pretty cool that you go to 14. A lot of people don't. Jackets. Yeah, jackets is a big thing for kids. Blankets. Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. New Jersey and New York. Oh, I bet they get the double tax too. We did the 6 gift ideas. One of each. Something to read, something to wear, something to share, something to do, something you need, something you want. That's pretty cool. I like that. Kickoff. We get lists, what kids want. We do bags full. We are veteran run. Yeah, no, Toys for Tots is different. They're Marine. They're run by the Marines. But I love that. I love that, Christina, for that area, because that's a good area to have something like that in. That's the thing, right? It's run by you have 6 cities that you do, right? So it's just those 6 cities. You wouldn't take someone from, whatever city. So that's in Massachusetts. The way that it's done is it's done by city and town versus, all of Massachusetts can do this place or this area. It's hard. It's hard for a lot of families, especially with the cutoff, because when you have a cutoff of age 11 or 12, and then you imagine if all of your kids are past 11 or 12, right? Imagine you have 13, 14, 15, right? So that means nothing. They missed the cutoff for it all. And I think in my heart, I was a foster kid. So it's like, those kids still deserve Christmas too. They're still kids. Why do we want to act like they're not still kids just because they're teenagers? Oh, they're teenagers. They're still kids. They're still kids. You know what I mean? They're still kids. They're still just as excited as any other person waking up on Christmas to see if maybe they got something they really wanted. It breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. I live with the basics. I don't buy things for myself. The last time I bought myself a pair of shoes was, God, probably before my little was born, to be honest. That weren't bought at Walmart. I don't even think I have a pair of sneakers right now. I think just boots. I think the pair of sneakers I had, the bottom of it, broke. And I was like, oh, well, there goes that pair of sneakers. But it is what it is. You do what you can. I live with only what I need. It's nice to have things that you want, but even my wish list, besides some of the things that the kids want, it's mostly stuff I don't have, or then there's clothes. I need clothes desperately, but that's, you know what I mean? It's because these kids need to stop growing, man. All right. Especially my little, she's just growing like a little weed. She's out of this size and into this size. And I'm like, God damn it. Where's the frickin' pause button? Where is the frickin' pause button for this shit? Stop growing. Stop frickin' growing. Knock it off. You little a-holes. You need to stop growing. Don't have it in, my kid jumped, I think it was 2 sizes from last not this past summer, but like fall to now. And I'm like, God damn it. She grew taller. And I'm like a little weed, growing like a little weed, just so tall, you know? You know, I got boots. It's wintertime. I have boots. I have a nice new pair of boots that I've had since last year. They're snow boots, but we didn't really have snow, so I don't have to wear them. And then I have my Uggs, which are about 5 years old, but they keep my putties warm. All right. So I got my boots for the winter time. They do. I have boots. But really all I want for my birthday is just to be able to go out and spend it with the people. I want to laugh. I want to listen to music. I just want to have fun. That's all I want. I don't, I want to be able to do this one thing, and God willing, I will. Oh, I love that. Right? My oldest loves like fuzzy, warm socks, and like she loves those Crocs with the fuzzy inside of them because her feet are arthritic. The Crocs are much more comfortable on her feet than anything else. And so she loves the Crocs with like the fuzz inside, and then like big warm blankets. She loves big warm blankets and fuzzy socks. She loves fuzzy socks. But she also likes things like not gemstones like you think of like a cracker rock open gemstones. Gemstones like thinking more like, they can make quartz into like a heart, or they make quartz into like, you know what I'm saying? Like more like polished sort of stones. Both of my older ones like that kind of stuff. Sage, love some sage. You know what I mean? Things like that. Bank of America. Yeah, I don't know a lot of people that love Bank of America. I only know one person that lives in that area. And I know, I'm trying to think, her oldest might be right at the limit. But I do know someone that lives in Blackstone, who has 3 kids. It's not our fault that the world is getting so fucked up, my friend. It makes it so much harder. You are 100% right about that. You make it so much harder. Oh my God, Tampa, stop it. We got to think positive. We got this. I think I might know somebody who can do that for you. Somebody here crochets. Who? You can say that again, Sam. Unfortunately, that's what happens, that's what happens. Oh, that's not cool. That's not cool at all either. That is not cool. Release that's pretty cool. I think especially in the wintertime, depression is definitely something that comes into play. I worry about that all the time. I know someone here crochets, but I also know someone else who crochets. Let me ask them if they can make them for you. I think about it all the time. I think about what kind of world, when I'm gone, right, do I leave myself in? Do I leave my children in? Like, what world are they left here with? And I think about the cost of everything and how I struggle, and I don't want that for my kids. And yeah, and you're right, it's only getting worse. It's only getting worse. To me, I'm like, damn, I just, like, if I'm not there anymore, right, then what? Like, I know my oldest wants like a grooming table. She has service dogs and a seeing eye dog, and she wants like a grooming table for the dogs so she can groom them. And so funny because even a kid that's blind does a great job of grooming her own dogs, like she figures all this stuff out. even with her hands being stuck, one of her hands is stuck sort of in this position where the bones have fused from all the arthritis and everything. And she still figures out how to, like, she does this on her own. And do you know how much a freaking grooming table is? No chance. Like, those are expensive, you know? And it's like, can't get her books anymore. She can't look at them and read. Audible is a great option because she's a reader. All my kids are readers. They all like books. I like books. I'm a reader, you know? But I'm with you on that. Social media has destroyed a lot, you know? My kids, my little loves going outside and playing. This whole we don't do video games in this house. The only reason I even wanted like a video game system at all was so my kids could try the virtual reality. That's something they've asked for before. I've never owned a gaming console in my house ever. Not once, not ever. There was a couple of years back, I had a used, it was an older Xbox that we had. And we got to play a couple games here and there, and then it crapped out. So, I mean, we've never gotten like a gaming system that actually works, because even with a gaming system in my house, my kids wouldn't just sit on it. Like, that's something that they like to do when it's raining, or, you know, once a little bit of night before they go to bed. Like, I don't even watch TV unless it's at night. You know what I mean? Like, we like to do other stuff. Like I told you guys, the murder mystery games, I have a couple unopened that I'm waiting to do with my kids, my two oldest specifically, because I like doing them and they like that kind of stuff. So, you know, yeah, we were all in the neighborhood, played street hockey and stickball. You know, you knew all the neighbors, you knew all the neighborhood kids. And thankfully, I can say that's sort of the same in my neighborhood, which I love, but that doesn't happen everywhere, you know? It just doesn't. Oh, I had a beeper. Oh, God, who else had a beeper? I had a freaking beeper. Maybe that's who it was. Maybe it was Christina who crochets. But I feel you on that. You know, I do. I feel you on that. We all played. Oh, God, X is so bad. Which, if you guys don't know, is Twitter. You know, they changed the name of Twitter a couple of years back to X. I don't know. It feels weird to even call it that, but that's what Twitter is nowadays, is X. And it is. It's full of toxic people. There's a lot of unhinged madness happening over there that I'm just like, this is great. I've never seen this. You're so silly. I can sew by hand, thankfully. My grandmother taught me that. See, that's that. My grandmother, this is what we used to do for fun, right? You're locked out for 5 days. Oh, God, what'd you do? What'd you do? My grandmother taught me how to sew by hand. She had a sewing machine, but she taught me how to sew by hand in case, right? And what we used to do for fun when I was a kid is my grandmother, when she taught us how to sew, she wanted to make it fun for us so that we wouldn't be like, all right, this is boring, right? So she would buy the stuffing for a pillow, and she'd have us pick out whatever kind of fabric we wanted to make a pillow. And that is how she taught us how to sew by hand. Was we're going to make a pillow. That's the most basic sort of thing you can make. It's a square, and in and out, and in and out, and in and out, learning how to thread the needle, and, in and out, and in and out. And so that's what we would do. And that's how she taught us how to sew, was to make a pillow. And then you'd, sew the 3 sides, and you'd put the stuffing in the 4th side, and then sew it up, right? But it was fun. It was fun. Do you guys remember when I was talking about the seashells and painting the seashells? When I was putting things in storage and things out of storage, I found the seashells that my middle daughter made when she was, I'm going to say maybe 4. This one has her name. Obviously I'm not going to show her name. But this one has her name on it. And this one just says Mom, that she made. When I was a kid, the insides are where we painted them. My grandparents would bleach them for us, and we would paint the insides of the shells. My grandfather would go during low tide and go down and try to find the biggest ones he could find, and they would bleach them, and we would paint little scenes on the inside of the shells. And so keep these on a shelf right here on my desk, on the left side of my desk here, just to remind me, these are the things that I enjoy doing with my kids, I actually also found a really old picture of my daughter with the Easter Bunny, my middle, when she was a baby. Cutest picture ever. She did not look happy to be with the Easter Bunny, though. And I keep it on my desk, along with pictures of my other kids on the desk. It's pouring at the game. Are they in Tampa or are they home? It's not raining here. That's how I learned how to sew, my grandmother. I haven't used a machine in so long that I would rather do it by hand because I don't know if I could do it on a machine anymore. Although my oldest can do it on a machine. I don't know if I can, you know? I don't know if I can. But by hand, I could get it done. I could get it done by hand super easy, you know? That's okay. It happens all the time. I used to do top chat and then totally forget to change it to all chat all the time, you know? My oldest likes to do like painting too. She likes ceramics or pottery that she can just paint, which I love. You know, I love painting, paint nights. She likes like ceramics or pottery that she can paint. And it's good for her hands too, you know? So, and she can see sort of shadows out of one eye, so she can sort of tell like where the item is if she gets real close. She could sort of see shadows, and that was the result of the eye surgery, which was like a 50-50 chance of her getting something back. In the one eye, she didn't, but in this eye, she got some like shadows and light that she can see. So that has helped in a way where she can at least see where the item is, you know, as long as you tell her, you know, where the colors are and you put them close to her, she can see them. Yeah, she has, I think my oldest has 3 sewing machines, I believe, because she can sew with the sewing machines. I would rather do it by hand because I haven't used a sewing machine so goddamn long. During the pandemic, she sewed masks for people who needed them. Without my aunt, like I said, my aunt, which would be her great aunt, it's the only aunt I have, worked at a hospital. So she made those little, what should we call it, the little button things with the extenders to make them longer, bigger, more secure. We love crime-related games. We love them. We solve the crime. We're going to solve it. We're going to find the murderer. We love those. I want to get a bigger version of the one that we have. Hunt a Killer has like the ones that we have, which are the smaller versions, or they have these much larger versions where there's just a ton of evidence, like the much bigger, harder ones. And I want to get one of those, but those are like, I don't know, 50 or 60 bucks. They're a little expensive because you're supposed to buy them on like a monthly basis and they send one every month and it takes like 6 months or something to solve one, or you can just buy the whole, you know, thing. And I'm like, we couldn't wait to do one every, we'd have to do the whole rigmarole, like do the whole goddamn thing. The whole goddamn thing. Oh no. You know, they don't care if it's raining. They want to play nonetheless. Hope nobody hurts themselves, though. All right. I'm going to wrap this up, guys, because I have laundry to do. That means I have to go to a laundry mat, unfortunately. I love your stinking faces. If y'all would like to help the channel, we would very much appreciate it. We have a bunch of different ways you can do so. We have CashApp, we have Venmo, we have PayPal, we have Revolut, we have super chats and super stickers and memberships you can gift. And then we have good old-fashioned link that we have over in chat, and it's in the description of the video as well. And the link is a secure link. It's anybody can use credit or debit. It goes to my PayPal. That's how it pays me out. It's through my PayPal. So those are the options that we have. 5 minutes. Oh, shizness. But I am going to do laundry with my sister. Me and my sister are going to go to the laundromat and do laundry. So much fun. But I love your stinking faces. Hit that like button on your way out. And maybe I'll see you guys tonight. Maybe we shall do a Sunday night stream just because I'm feeling a little froggy today. I'm feeling a little froggy. All right. So maybe keep an eye out for that. I'll see how long it takes me to do the laundry and whatnot, but just keep an eyeball out all right, for maybe a impromptu live stream. See? My daughter loves painting. I love painting. My little one loves painting. Everybody loves painting. All right. I love your stinking faces. I'll see y'all shortly. Bye, everybody.